Hi there, and thank you for joining me for Lesson 5-4A Point-Slope Form. Our goal today is to be able to write the equation of a line in point-slope form. This is what point-slope form looks like. Go ahead and pause the video so that you can write this form in your notes. Okay, let's take a look at it. You're going to see two things when you look at point-slope form. One thing you will see is a point along the line in ordered pair. The second thing you're going to see is the slope of the line. Well, hence the name point-slope form. Right here is where you're going to be putting the slope of the line. And then the point, any point along the line, the x-coordinate will go here and the y-coordinate will go here. You could pick any point that you want. And once you plug those two things in, you will have the equation of the line in point-slope form. Let's give it a try. We're asked what is an equation in point-slope form of the line shown below. Remember, all you need is a point and a slope. You could use any point that you want along the line, and because there's infinite number of points, there's actually infinite numbers of ways that you could write this equation. We're going to do it twice. We're going to do it first using this point 4, and then we're going to do it again using this point -2, 1. You're going to see that even though our equations look different, they're actually the same equation. Let's give this a try. Okay, here's our example. Now, in order to write this equation, we don't just need a slope. We don't just need a point. We also need the slope. So we're going to have to figure out what the slope of the line is before we write this equation. So we're just going to kind of have to find some points along the line like rise, run, rise, run, rise, run. Do you guys see how those are points? So it looks like we go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. So my slope here is going to be 1/2. So that's important that we figure out what the slope is. Okay, once we know the slope, we can do this. So this point 4, we're going to put the point slope form right here. Remember, this is the x, this is the y. So we're going to start off by y minus the y coordinate from this point, and that is 4. So I'm going to go y minus the y coordinate, which is 4. So I'm literally just plugging the number 4 in right here because that's the y coordinate. Then we're going to put the equal sign next, and after the equal sign comes the slope. The slope is 1/2. Then big parentheses, you see them? Big parentheses, right? And then we're going to go x minus, and then here we want to put the x coordinate. The x coordinate happens to be 4. Pretty foolproof because both points are the same thing. So here I have the equation of the line in point slope form. Now let's do it again down here. Here we have the x, here we have the y. Okay, so here I'm going to go y minus, and the y coordinate's 1, and then equals. Remember, after the equals, I put the slope, and that's 1/2. And then I'm going to have the x coordinate in big parentheses, x minus. Now the x coordinate is -2. So when I put -2, this minus a negative or take away a negative actually makes it plus. Okay, so here we go. We could use multiple points along the line to write the equation in point slope form. And all of them are actually the same equation. If I take these two equations that I just wrote here, okay, so you see how they're the exact same thing I put on this piece of paper here. Now what I did was I just rewrote them. I rewrote them y equals mx plus b. See how I just distributed and I solved for the y, and I got this. I did the same thing here. I distributed, I added the 1, and I rewrote it. Check it out. Both equations are the same. They both simplify here to y equals 1/2 x plus 2 when solved for y. Cool. You know what? If you picked any point along this line, the same thing would happen if you rewrote the equation. They are all three equivalent. Well, let's see. The slope is 1/2. Yeah, obviously, right? Is the intercept +2? Go back to the original line. Do you see the intercept here? Yeah, it is. It intercepts the y-axis at +2. It's so cool. Math is so cool. Okay. So that's example number 1. Let's look at number 2. So follow along with me in your notes. Okay, even easier yet. A line passes through this given point and has a slope of -7/3. What's the equation of the line in point slope form? Okay, easy. You may want to mark this x and this y so you can keep them straight. All right, so literally all we're going to do is plug in these coordinates right up here into the form. So we have y minus the y coordinate. That y coordinate is 24. And then x, right here, x minus the x coordinate. We're literally just plugging it in. And then all we have to do here is put the slope, which is negative 7/3. You see that? You're just like taking it and plopping it right in there. So easy. Well, I'm going to rewrite it here. I got y minus the y coordinates 24. After the equal sign, that's where we put the slope, and that's negative 7/3. Big parentheses. You ready? X minus the x coordinate, which is 1. That's all we're doing. So right here and right here, we're literally just plugging in the point. That's all we're doing, right? You're just plugging in the point, and then this number right here, that's your slope. Okay, that's all it is. So easy. When you know the point and the slope, it's just plop it right in, and then you're done. There's your form. Okay. Okay, here's 3. Okay, just a reminder that this is what our goal is to get it to look like. Here we have a line passes through the point, negative 3, 6, but it has a slope of 2/5 this time. So again, I'm going to mark x and y. What is the equation of the line and point slope form? Okay, so we're going to start again with y minus, and this is where we're going to put the y coordinate. Y minus, the y coordinate is 6. Then comes the equal sign. Right after the equal sign is the slope. That's 2/5, so I put that down here, 2/5. Now we need big parentheses, and we're going to go x minus, and then here's where we plug the x point in. Okay, x point is negative 3, negative 3. So what's going to happen here? Yeah, it changes into a plus. Okay, now you see that this is x sub 1 and y sub 1. It just means from the first point. Well, the first point could be any point. So it's just from a point. That's all that little notation means. So this would be point slope form. Okay, in number 4, here we're asked to write the equation in point slope form of the line that passes through the given points. So imagine if these 2 points were graphed on the coordinate plane and we drew a line through them. What would be the equation in point slope form? Okay, well, in order to get this into point slope form, I have to have a point, which I do. I've got 2 of them, but I also have to have a slope. So when I ask what do we need to do first, well, we're going to need to figure out what the slope of the line is if we want to get this into slope-intercept form. So right off to the left here, I'm going to find the slope. We know we have an equation for that. So i's on my y's, negative 3 minus 5, subtract them. And then x's, negative 2 minus 2. Looks like I have negative 8 over negative 4, which divides to positive 2. So there's the slope. Okay, now that I have the slope, I can go ahead and I can write the equation of the line. So here I mark this one in red. So we're going to do negative 2, negative 3. Right here, we're going to use this point and write the equation in this box. And then we'll do it again, and we'll use this point. Remember, it doesn't matter which point you use. You're going to get the same equation. Okay, so we'll do that. All right, so let's give this a try here. Let's use this point first. We got y minus the y coordinate, which is negative 3. So that's going to change to plus. Then the equal sign. Then after the equal sign comes the slope, big parenthesis. Ready? X minus the x coordinates negative 2, so that's going to change to a plus. So there we go. Okay, so we got y plus 3 equals 2 times x plus 2. Over here with this one, we have y minus the y coordinate, which is 5, equal sign, and after the equal sign comes the slope, and then x minus the x coordinate, which is 2. Now, you're probably looking at these two going, those are totally different equations. They're not totally different equations. Okay, do you see how I just rewrote them? I rewrote it here, I rewrote it here. This is what we came up with for our answers. Check out how cool this is. I rewrote this equation in slope-intercept form. I did the same with this equation. I rewrote it in slope-intercept form. What do you notice? They're the same. It's the same line. It just looks different. Isn't that cool? All of these are equivalent. They're all the same line. It's just that they're in 2 different forms. Okay, but they have the same, like they're the exactly the same thing. They're equivalent. Okay. So cool. All right, number 5. Here we're asked to write the equation of this line in point slope form. Well, you don't see a line, but you have a bunch of ordered pairs. So imagine if we graphed all of these ordered pairs on a coordinate plane and drew a line through them. We want the equation of the line in point slope form, right? So again, we need 2 things in order to do that. We need a point, which we have like 4 of them, and we need a slope, which we don't have at all. So we're going to have to find the slope. Okay, so we remember how to find the slope from a table. We want to find the change in y over change in x, right? So to find slope, I would find change in y, and -4 to -5 would be minusing 1. And then when I go from -9 to -12, -9 to -12 would be minusing 3. So the change in y over change in x would be 1/3. So that is the slope. Okay, so I have the slope. Now, all I need is a point and the slope. You could pick any of these points. It doesn't matter. However, on your practice assignment today, I'm going to ask you to pick the first point. So we're just going to practice this by using the first point. Okay, so here we got the x, here we got the y. They are already written there. I don't know why I wrote them again. All right, y minus, now I need the y coordinate, which is -4. Okay, so do you see how that's going to change to a plus? Then the equal sign. What comes after the equal sign? The slope, which is 1/3. And then big parenthesis. Now we have x minus the x coordinate, which is -9. And again, minus a negative makes it plus. So this is one of the ways you can write the equation in point slope form. Okay, any of these points you could use, and they're all really going to be the same equation. All right, but we'll just use the first one. Okay, 6. Let's do the same thing again, just practicing again. If you want to pause the video, try it, and then watch and see if you have it right. That's fine. So again, we need a point. We have 4 of them. We also need a slope. We don't have a slope, so we're going to have to find that. So change in y, which is +3, we're going up 3, and change in x from -3 to -1, we're going up 2. So 3 over 2 would be the slope, 3/2, change in y over change in x. Okay, so here's the slope. And again, we're going to do the same thing before. We're going to use the point from the very first point in the table, because that's what I'm having you do on your practice assignment. Okay, so we're ready? This is where we're going to put the x and y coordinates. So y minus the y coordinates 5 equals, what comes after the equal sign? Yep, the slope. Big parenthesis, x minus the x coordinate, which is -3, which is going to make this turn into a plus. And I'm done. There we go. It's in point slope form. I got the point here. I got the slope there. I am done. Okay. Now I'm going to have you do the opposite, which is pull it back out. And sometimes this reverse thinking can be kind of tricky. So let's give this a try. This is also going to help us with graphing. So here I'm asking you, what is the point and what is the slope? This equation is in point slope form. Well, the easiest thing to pick out is the slope. That's just 1/3. That comes after the equal sign. A little bit more challenging to pick out is the point. Remember, this is y minus the y coordinate, x minus the x coordinate. So the point, the x coordinate would be 4, and the y coordinate would be 11. And there's the point. Okay, this one wasn't too bad. But what happens when we look at this one? Again, the slope isn't so bad. Slope's right there after the equal sign. So that's -9/8. Again, the point can be a little bit more challenging. So here, remember this came from y minus. So this was y minus a -37 to make it a plus, right? And this came from x minus. So this had to have been x minus a -4 to make it a plus. So you need to keep that in mind when you tell me what the point is. The point's actually the x coordinate was -4 and the y coordinate was -37. Because then when you plug these into the form, it changed to a plus for both of them because they were negative points. Okay, so that can be a little tricky. All right, last example. Here, what do you think the slope is? Slope should be right here. It's just a negative, but it's an invisible number, right? Yeah, it's a 1, -1, -1. Okay, so slope is up one, left one. And then the point, ooh, this came from x minus -6 in order to change it to a plus. And this is just y minus 2.5. So it looks like the x coordinate was -6 and the y coordinate was positive 2.5. Okay, so we have parentheses like that. There we go. A little bit. There's not really enough room for me to do that. -6 comma 2.5. There you go. Much prettier. There it is. All right. So we did a lot with writing equations in point slope form today. So hopefully you feel like the goal for you went well, being able to write an equation in point slope form by just plugging in the point and plugging in the slope, and you've got it. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.